Hello there, in the top of the afternoon to you. Well, here I'm going to, if you can listen to this video all the way through, this will be one of the most profound videos you'll probably ever listen to, if you haven't listened to Jeremy Griffith's work already. Now, I'm a 70-year-old fella, been near death, had a pretty rough upbringing, in the scheme of things. And I've studied and researched and read prolifically. And I've read all the experts and all the latest magic fixes and all the quick fixes, etc. And I've strived and I've worked very hard to get to where I have. But I've stumbled over something that's quite extraordinary. And it's by a fellow called Jeremy Griffith, a very well credentialed biologist, an Australian fella, straight shooter. And he has unearthed, and apparently he's been doing this on this quest for nearly 40 years. He's a biologist that discovered, and I deduced this actually a couple of years ago, I got to realise that everybody is miserable or depressed. It all depends on the severity. And I can prove this by the amount of times folk I've spoken to, and I've mentioned this to people, that everybody's depressed or miserable, and nobody will refute this. Nobody. Not one person has. So that backs up what I'm saying. But I couldn't understand why. I read The Kybalion, very powerful book that was written by, supposedly by Hermes, coming from his sort of profound sort of knowledge of the universe that goes back 5,000 years. And I realised that what they were saying in this book was quite true, but it didn't have any science behind it. And Jeremy Griffith, he explains the whole lot. And the default of every human being is to be a kind, beautiful, loving soul. That's the way we are. That's our default. That's the way we were thousands of years ago. Millions of years ago. It goes back apparently 2 million years. But there was a dilemma between when humans became conscious in their quest for knowledge, and it gets a little bit sort of esoteric. So I'm going to ask you to go to Jeremy Griffith's website to have it all explained to you, because it's fairly detailed, but it's all backed up by science. And as you probably know, and you've come across this, and you probably act this way yourself, you walk through life and you pretend you don't see anyone, and you act as if you're so cool and happy and all these wonderful sort of attributes that you've got, but you're churning away deep inside like everybody else is. But you won't admit it. You put on the act and the front. And I didn't get this, I was trying to sort of, be kind to people, and I just couldn't believe how cruel some people were, And I'll show an example across the road. We've got a retirement village, and I've befriended a few old folk there and helped a lot of people out. And the management just treated me so poorly, but there is a sort of self-preservation about our spirit, that we have this dichotomy between our conscious self and our genetic self. It's always in clash. But when you get to read and understand scientifically how Jeremy Griffith explains that, as I said, our default of human beings is to be kind, beautiful, loving souls. And when you know I used to retort and react. Used to be such a reactionary person. And, you know, I've ostracised myself with people because I knew that everyone was bullshitting. I knew that they were playing, but I couldn't play the role. But now I know that they are bullshitting themselves like everybody else. And you just got to feel sorry for them. And there was a chap that sort of, who I admired quite immensely at my golf club, who said something out of left field that I just couldn't believe that he didn't realise I was in earshot, and he said this about me, and I was quite taken aback. Now normally I would have, you know, responded in a reactive, sort of aggressive way, but rather than do that, I sent him a clip of Jeremy Griffith's video about what he calls the human condition. And when you understand what the human condition is, you don't have to live this bullshit role, you know. You can walk along with your head up high, your shoulders back, say hello to your neighbour, and not feel worried that they're not going to say hello back. Because they're just fucking bullshitting themselves. So feel sorry for them and move on. And try to get them to sort of learn the way that I'm hoping you people might pick up. Anyway, it's a fairly lecturous sort of little video for an old fella down in Sandringham. But I hope you can spread the word. Thanks very much for watching. And all the best to you.